Friends, now Unit 11 P block elements, lecture number 3, 11.1.6. We continue that lecture, chemical properties, and we just learn oxidation state and trends in chemical reactivity. So first of all, you remember what is meaning of oxidation state. Suppose we consider oxidation state of boron, then you remember electronic configuration of boron. Boron Z is equal to 5, He equal 2s2 and 2p1. Okay, so this is an electronic configuration of boron, and this oxidation state is explained on the basis of valence shell. This is known as valence shell. So how many electrons here released? Plus 3. That means whatever the oxidation state of any group is there, it is electron present in S or say Ns and Np. That means 2 plus 1, that is nothing but 3, and that's why here plus 3 oxidation state is there. 2 electron and this 1 electron, they are very easily removed, and that's why it is shown plus 3. As well as aluminium, Z is equal to 13, N equal 3s2 3p1. Here also in 3s orbital 2 electron and 3p orbital 1 electron is present, and that's why we can say that oxidation state is plus 3. Okay. When we go boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium down the group, there is an oxidation state plus 3 is there. Just you see, here plus 3, here plus 3, here plus 3, here plus 3, here plus 3. But this plus 3 oxidation state is least stable. This plus 3 oxidation state in a boron is a more stable, and this plus 3 oxidation state when we go down the group, it is a least stable. But plus 1 more stable, and which is known as ionic. Just we discuss later on this topic. But here plus 1 is there, and that's why they are forming ionic. That means Cl plus and another compound, another ions, negative ions. Here plus 3 covalent is there. Here you have to understand this concept on the basis of inert pair effect that we explain later on. But what is meaning of this, just to understand according to your NCERT textbook. Here, due to small size of the boron, because boron is a first member of boron family, and due to we can say that small size of boron, here the sum of 3 ionization enthalpy, that is nothing but ionization enthalpy 1, ionization enthalpy 2 and ionization enthalpy 3 is a very high. Remember, is very high. That means total of first ionization enthalpy, second ionization enthalpy and third ionization enthalpy is very high. What is meaning of first ionization enthalpy? From boron, from valence shell, this from 2p orbital, this 1 electron is released, and whatever the energy is required, that is called first ionization enthalpy. It is typical because it is a, we can say, small in size. When atomic size is small, ionization enthalpy is more. Same way, in 2s orbital, we can say that second electron is removed. This is a more typical as compared to first. That's why it's required more ionization enthalpy. So second ionization enthalpy is more as compared to first ionization enthalpy, and third ionization enthalpy is a, we can say, very high. Okay, at that time we can say that ionization enthalpy first, ionization enthalpy second, ionization enthalpy third. If we do total, it is a very high. Okay, and this is we can learn on the basis of this. But just you see, and that's why here boron is just sharing their electrons and try to become stable by plus 3 oxidation states. Plus 3 oxidation states, and they form which type of compound? Covalent in nature. Covalent in nature. That means sharing their electrons from the outermost or say valence shell. They are not done in, we can say that they are not in terms of ionized. Ionic compound is not formed, but sharing of electron, due to that they show covalent in nature. And that's why just you see, due to small size, the sum of its 3 ionization enthalpy is very high. This prevents it to form plus 3 ions and force it to form only covalent compound. whatever the sentence is there, if you clear according to this electronic configuration, if you know concept of ionization enthalpy and atomic radius, then it become very easy. Now just we switch on towards aluminium. Now see, the sum of the first three ionization enthalpies of aluminium considerably decreases. Why it is decreases? Just to see, this is a neon core. Now 3s2 and 3p1 is there. Due to aluminium shows metallic character, and due to, we can say that these 3p orbital, they are very easily removed. Once again, this 3s orbital, one electron is removed, and 3s orbital, another electron is removed. It is a very easy because of Al plus 3 is a stable form. Okay, and that's why here just you see, to form Al plus 3 ions. In fact, Al is a highly electropositive. Remember, Al is a highly electropositive metal, and those metal which is a released electron from outermost cell, they are considered as a electropositive, and that's why aluminium shows here ionic character. Okay, so it's a very easy. Another term, when we go down the group, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium, due to poor shielding effect. Now this one explained in a inert pair effect, just to understand the sentence. Due to poor shielding effect of intervening d and f orbitals, the increased effective nuclear charge holds ns electrons tightly, responsible for inert pair effect. Just I explained it here, and thereby restricting their participation in bonding. As a result of this, only p orbital electron may be involved in a bonding, and that's why we can say that when we go down the group, at that time, due to inert pair effect, +3 oxidation state stability is decreases. Relatively boron +3 oxidation state, this is a stable state, but this is a, we can say that, least stable. Okay, +3 oxidation state, but +1 oxidation state here more stable, while here +1 oxidation state in a boron, which is a least stable. It is explained on the basis of inert pair effect. Okay, and just you see, their participation in bonding as a result of this, only p orbital electron may be involved in bonding. Now we switch on towards inert pair effect. What is meaning of inert pair effect? Just I explain it here. So first of all, you write down this according to your NCERT textbook, and this is the oxidation states and trends in a group when we go top to bottom. Okay, so this is all about, we can say that here oxidation state according to boron to, we can say that thallium. Another is remaining, but what is meaning of inert pair effect? Just I explain it here. So right now, okay, now we learn here what is meaning of inert pair effect, and it is a very important for standard 11 as well as standard 12. Remember, first of all, electronic configuration and certain terms, so it become very easy for you. Suppose oxidation state, if you don't know, that boron family is there. In boron, we can say that 2 + 1 is there. That means in ns orbital 2 and in np 1. That's why 2 + 1 is equal to 3. Okay, so +3 oxidation state is there. I also for additional oxidation state which is a less than 2 unit or 2 digit. So +3 - 2, that is considered as +1. So maybe there is a +3 or +1 oxidation state is there. And according to our earlier lecture, just you see, boron +3 +3 +3 +3 and thallium also +3. This tendency is oxidation state stability is decreases when we go down the group. That means +3 stable at boron, but at aluminum it is the least stable. Same way, +1 oxidation state is unstable for boron, but for thallium +1 oxidation state is stable. What is reason behind it? And that's why here boron, which shows, we can say that, covalent character, while thallium is shown ionic character, or say ionic we can say that bond, okay, with any another element, negative ions. And that's why we can say that here explain on the basis of one concept, that is nothing but inert pair effect. Inert pair effect. Remember, first of all, when in electronic configuration you are intervening, what is the meaning of intervening? This 3s orbital is there, so 2p and 2s is called intervening orbital. Same way 6s and 6p is there, but 5d and 4f, this is considered as intervening orbitals. Okay, so this is a very, very important part, and that's why here in a boron we can say that in particular you have to remember one thing, screening effect. This one is very, very important. S orbital electron and p orbital electron is there, they are strongly screening effect. In that particular case, strongly screening effect is occurred, and here if d orbital electron and f orbital electron is present, or say d orbital electron is present and f orbital electron is present, they are considered as poor screening effect. Is it clear? They are not show any screening effect. There is no effect of any screening effect. So poor screening effect is there. Here strongly screening effect is there, and that's why screening effect order is in s orbital maximum, in p orbital we can say that less as compared to s, in d orbital as compared to p, and f orbital we can say that poor screening effect. So this is a very, very important part, and that's why just you see in boron we can say that 1s, 2s and 2p orbital is there, and this orbital is considered as valence shell. This particular part is considered as valence shell, and according to our concept of inert pair effect, for s orbital which possesses, we can say that maximum strongly screening effect, and that's why this 2s orbital, that means whatever the electrons are there, they repel. That means what? They are not attracted towards the nucleus, but they repel, and due to that this 2s orbital trying to get their electrons in 2p. That means this 2s orbital give electrons to 2p, and that's why here in 2s orbital 1 electron and 2p orbital 2 electron, which is unpaired, and that's why they share their electrons, and due to this strong screening effect, this type of +3 oxidation state is shown by boron. Is it clear? Now same way for aluminium, suppose we consider 1s, 2s, 2p, and this is nothing but inert any core, but here 3s orbital is there, so 3s orbital is there, and due to that 2s and 2p both orbital containing 2 electron and 6 electron, and that's why s orbital in s orbital electron and p orbital electron is present. They are considered as strongly screening effect, and due to that we can say that here strongly screening effect is occur, and that's why we can say that this electron moves from this to this, and that's why we can say that this 3s and 3p, this aluminium is there, but understand that this screening effect is more. It is not possible to pass this particular electron, but in aluminium case we can say that it is a screening effect is occur, and due to that we can say that here an electron is entered, and that's why Al+3 which form ionic compound. Now see about thallium. In thallium what particular thing you have to remember? So this is considered as valence shell, 6s and 6p. And just you see intervening orbital is 5d and 4f. So first of all electron filled in a 6s orbital, then once again going entered in a 4f orbital, which 14 electron is filled, and once again they entered in a 5d orbital, and then they just entered in a 6p orbital. That means electron entered according to s, then 4f, then 5d, and then 6p. So here just you see this 6s orbital is there, intervening orbital is 5d and 4f. Due to that we already know d orbital in d orbital electron, in f orbital electron is there, they show poor screening effect, and that's why these whatever the electrons are there, they are attracted towards the nucleus very strongly, and that's why this 6s orbital also attracted towards the nucleus. So this 6s2 electron is there, but now problem is there due to this 4f and 5d orbital which possesses poor screening effect, and that's why this 6s orbital containing 2 electrons not entered in 6p. They are not tried, just you see, they are, that means this 6s orbital are not trying to become, or say try to become unpaired. Okay, this is not become unpaired. At that time we can say that this electron is only there, and that's why here due to we can say that poor screening effect, and that's why this whatever the electron and this 6s 5d 4f, they are attracted towards the nucleus, and effective nuclear charge is increases, and that's why we can say that here one electron is only there, and that's why this oxidation state is +1, and that's why here boron shows +3 oxidation state and here +1 oxidation state, and this is known as inert pair effect. Due to that, just you see, +3 oxidation state is reached to +1, which is a less 2 unit. That means 3 minus 2, that means +1, and that is nothing but inert pair effect. In another family also this type of, we can say that, inert pair effect, and different types of this type of oxidation state strengths also so this you have to understand from this particular we can say that electronic configuration. And first of all, remember s orbital electron, p orbital electron, strong screening effect, and d orbital electron, f orbital electron if present, they considered as poor screening effect. And that's why here electron is more, so nucleus, they are attracted towards the nucleus, and this 6s orbital also attracted, but this 6p orbital is there, they are repelled, and due to that some repulsion takes place, and due to that they possesses only +1 oxidation state, while here this 2s orbital is paired, but they try to become unpaired, and they give electrons, or say the electron of 2s orbital is entered in a 2p, and that's why here 3 electrons are there which they share with another atom, just like BF3. Okay, but here we can say that TnCl3 is quite unstable, and BF3 is a stable. This is a stable, this is a unstable. So this is explained on the basis of inert pair effect as well as trends in oxidation state. Is it clear? So this is all about inert pair effect. Write it down completely according to electronic configuration and understand all the particular parts, which is a stable, which is a unstable, why this particular, it is a very important in chemical reactivity also. So here in boron +3 oxidation state is a stable, while in thallium +1 oxidation state is stable. Vice versa, we can say that in boron +1 oxidation state is a less stable, and in thallium +1 oxidation state is a more stable. So this is all about inert pair effect and the concept, and particularly for boron family. Okay, so write it completely, and just you remember these two things at here, and oxidation states also less than 2 units. Just you see, initially when lecture is start, at that time inert pair effect I give definition, but this definition is just true at this level, and if you understand this, then it has become very easy for you for carbon family as well as nitrogen family, oxygen family, halogen family, that you have to learn later on in 11th as well as in 12th standard. So this is all about inert pair effect. Write it completely. Now we have considered oxidation trends, we can say that particular oxidation state and trends in trivalent state. What is meaning of trivalent? Just you see VCl3. This boron is there. Boron is there. Z is equal to 5. If we write electronic configuration, then He call 2s2 and 51. So outermost orbital possesses how many electrons is there? 3 electron, and that's why according to the structure, boron sharing these 3 electrons with chlorine. So this is a chlorine. In chlorine, how many electrons present in outermost orbital? Total 7, 10 plus 7, and that's why according to that only we just give only 1 electron at here and another 6 electrons at biggest surrounded part. Okay, remember this, very important. And that's why just you see boron haven't any electron left, so they are deficient of electron, and that's why this structure is considered as trigonal planar. So what is meaning of this trigonal planar? Just understand from this point of view. Suppose this is one type of circle. In that circle, if we carry out from the center 3 parts, so this bond angle is 120 degree, this bond angle is also 120 degree, and this bond angle is also 120 degree. That means what? This bond angle is 120, this bond angle is 120 degree, and this bond angle is 120 degree, and that's why it is a trigonal planar. Remember, whatever shape is there, trigonal planar, and that's why here you know that those are electron deficient. They are called Lewis acid. Okay, they are called Lewis acid. Now see, if it is reacts with ammonia, so ammonia possesses this lone pair of electron. This 2 electron is considered as lone pair of electron, and they just donate their electrons towards boron. Okay, and that's why just you see whatever reaction is there, NH3 donated towards boron. That's why here coordinate covalent bond is formed, and this here just shape is different. Here initially trigonal planar in BCl3, but when product BCl3 dot NH3 is obtained, this product gives tetrahedral. And this lone pair of electron, those we consider species which donate electrons towards another, that is considered as Lewis base. And this is a very important concept in your organic chemistry chapter number 13, Friedel-Crafts reaction. This is a very important chapter. Okay, so this type of we can say the behavior is shown, and that's why here in Friedel-Crafts anhydrous AlCl3 is there. This AlCl3 is a just like this type of structure is there, but in a dimer form. That means suppose we consider aluminium, chlorine and chlorine, and suppose another aluminium, chlorine and chlorine. So here this chlorine possesses, here we can say that lone pair of electron which is donated towards this chlorine to this aluminium. Okay, and this chlorine to this aluminium. So that's why we can say that this chlorine to which aluminium? This aluminium, because this chlorine gives electrons to this aluminium and this chlorine gives electrons to this aluminium, and that's why here AlClAl. That means here we can say that 3 atoms take part, and that is called bridge, and that's why this shape is tetrahedral. Okay, and that's why we can say that AlCl3 forming dimer is this way, and this bond length of this AlCl, this bond length is 206 picometer, while this AlCl-Al bond angle is 101 degree, and Cl-AlCl, this bond angle is 79 degree, and AlCl, this bond length is 221 picometer, and this ClAlCl, this bond angle is 118 degree. This is not important, but just you remember this is forming a dimer. So here dimer, here the product is obtained, and that is nothing but we consider tetrahedral structure. Same way here B2H6. formation is there. Same way here we can say that Al2Cl6. This compound is considered as Al2Cl6. Okay, it's a dimer of aluminium chloride and it is the best catalyst. Remember, it is the best catalyst because they donate electrons towards, here we can say that, accept electrons from the nucleophile. Okay, from the nucleophile, from the electrophile, sorry, from the electrophile, and due to that we can say that this AlCl3 is there. So AlCl3, which is a strongly we can say that electron capture. So they just we can say that receives their electron. They are not tendency to donate because it's a electron deficient, and that's why same is tetrahedron. And this aluminium chloride, this BCl3, this BF3, they are best catalyst. Okay, they are used in a best catalyst, and that's why it's very important. And here in trivalent state, most of the compound being covalent are hydrolyzed in water. That means what? Here suppose we take trichloride, suppose we take boron trichloride. So this boron trichloride is there. If it is reacts with water molecule, so it gives MOOH4 minus, and hybridization is sp3, just like in CH4. In methane, whatever the hybridization is there, it is just like we can say that in sp3. So here you have to remember this MOH4 minus, this is a complex, and this hybridization is sp3. Instead of that, suppose we take aluminium chloride and acidified aqueous solution is there. So this acidified aqueous solution gives AlH2O6 3 plus ion. So here you have to understand from this point of view, Al is equal to 30. Electronic configuration is Ne-core 3s2, 3p0, 3p1 and 3d0. Understand from this point of view. But here just you see, hybridization is which one? sp3d2 is there, and that's why here how many H2 is there? 6 H2O is there, and that's why we can say that here 3s orbital gives the electrons in a, we can say that, 3d orbital, and that's why we can say that here hybridization is sp3d2. Hybridization is sp3d2. That you have to learn later on, don't bother about this. But according to this, we can say that outermost orbital is there and they are in a used form. Here 3s, 3p, then we can say that here 4s is there, and then 3d. Okay, this one is very easy for you. So first of all, electron here we can say that sp3d2 is there. And one concept might be you do not learn it here. This water is considered as ligand, and due to that, this 3s2 and 3p1, they are not ionizing form, and that's why they donated electrons towards, we can say that, next species. So here 4s and d is there. 4s, 4p, 3d. That's way possible, and due to that 3s, 3p, then 3d this way, and then 4s and then 4p. So here hybridization is sp3d2. Hybridization is s, this orbital first of all filled, then p3d2. So first of all electron entered in a 4s, then 3d, and then we can say that p. And that's why these water molecules are sharing their electrons in a vacant position. And due to that, in complex ion 3d orbitals, aluminium are involved and the hybridization is sp3d2. So this is all about oxidation state trends. Okay, now we learn with respect to air. So write down this. Here, reactivity towards air. That means there is a particular boron family when reacts with air, then which particular product is obtained. So boron is unreactive in crystalline form because boron is a first member of this group 13 elements, and due to that we can say that here boron is a containing very small size, and that's why they are unreactive in crystalline form. Aluminium forms a very thin oxide. Once again, this Al+3 is also containing very small size, but as compared to boron, we can say that forms a very thin oxide layers on the surface which protects the metal from further attack. That means they reacts with, they produces that particular on the surface very thin oxide layer, very thin oxide layer. So this is we can say that all about here aluminium. And here amorphous boron and aluminium metal, if we heat it in presence of air, it gives Me2O3, that is boron trioxide, and alumina, or say aluminium trioxide. So here Al2O3 is there. So this is a we can say product here B plus O2. That means here you have to balance. You write down here 2. So here we have to write 2B2O3. So balance yourself, and Al2O3 also here you have to balance. So B plus O2 it gives B2O3, and Al plus O2 it gives Al2O3. Just you balance by here we can say that 6. So here 2 is there. Here O2 is there, here 3 is there, so we have to write here 3. Okay, so here you have to write here 2. So 2 3 are 6, so 2 2 are 4, so here 4 boron. So that's it. 4 boron plus 3 O2, a delta, if we heat, it gives 2 B2O3. Same way here also, aluminium is there. So aluminium, once again we have to write here 4. Here we have to write 3, and here we have to write once again 2. So 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4, so 4 aluminium is there. And that's why amorphous boron, when we heat it in presence of air, it gives boron trioxide. And aluminium metal, when we heat it in presence of air, it gives aluminium trioxide, or say aluminium oxide. Okay, aluminium trioxide is there. If this element of this 13 group element, when we react with 3 moles of O2, it gives, just as 3 moles of O2 is there, if we heat, it gives E2O3. Okay, in common. This twice E stands for element. So twice E solid plus N2 gas is there, it gives twice En. So this they give nitride also. So this type of reaction is shown. The nature of these oxides varies down the group. Okay. So initially just I explained one, boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium is there. Suppose you understood the nature of that particular, then these oxides of borons are acidic, while aluminium and gallium, these oxides are amphoteric. And this indium and thallium, these oxides are basic. Initially just in this lecture I explained this one, but boron trioxide, which is acidic in nature, when it is reacts with metallic oxides which is in a basic nature, it gives metal borate, MbO3 thrice. Okay, so this metal borate is obtained. Okay, and this boron trioxide is acidic in nature. Aluminium and gallium oxides, they are amphoteric. Make a list of this. And indium and thallium oxides are basic in nature. So this is all about reactivity towards air. So write down from your NCERT textbook and write down from this particular point. And remember these oxides initially in a, we can say lighter, yes, this is very very important, lighter element. Their oxides are acidic, and another we can say that heavier element of this group 13, they show basic nature, and middle part aluminium and gallium, they are amphoteric, they react with acids as well as base. That's why they are considered as amphoteric in nature. So write down this and take a screenshot. Now, oxidation state and trends in chemical reactivity. Now in chemical reactivity, second topic in your NCERT textbook, reactivity towards acids and alkalis. That means boron, first of all, it is reacts with acid and alkalis at moderate temperature. There is no any product given. Okay, this reaction is not possible. But aluminium dissolves in mineral acids and aqueous alkalis. Remember this one? Dissolves in mineral acids just like hydrochloric acid. It is not dissolved in nitric acid, remember. Dissolves in mineral acid and aqueous alkalis. This shows amphoteric nature. This shows amphoteric. So amphoteric means what? They react with acids as well as base. Alkalis means what? Base, alkaline. Okay. It dissolves aluminium dissolves in dilute HCl, liberate H2 gas. So just to see, twice Al plus 6 HCl, it gives twice Al plus 3 plus 6 Al minus plus 3 H2. So here aluminium just release that electron plus 3 and here 3 electron. Same way here this Cl minus is there. So 6 Cl minus they are donated directly. So here twice Cl, just say 3 electron is there. So this 6 electron remains the same. So 6 Cl minus 6 Cl minus same. But just you see 6 H plus is there. So this 6 H plus they are just you see 6 H plus is there and they produce 3 H2 gas. So here they just gain how many electron? 6 electron and produce how many H2? 3 H2 gas. So here 6 is there and here 3 electron is there. So this is multiplied by here 2, here also 2. So here it becomes 6 and that's why it is in balanced form. A twice Al plus 3, just you see product, plus 6 Cl minus as it is and plus 3 H2 gas which is obtained from H plus. So they liberated dihydrogen gas and that's why it is reacts with acid. However, concentrated nitric acid renders aluminium passive by forming a protective oxide layer. They produces protective oxide layer on the surface. Okay, and that's why this particular it is not we can say that reacts with concentrated nitric acid renders an aluminium passive by forming a protective oxide layer. This type of thing is not possible right here, but here protective oxide layer is formed and that's why it is reacts with HCl but not reacts with concentrated nitric acid. That's it. Aluminium also reacts with aqueous alkali and liberate H2 gas. That means once again this twice Al solid plus twice NaOH plus 6 H2O it gives one complex which is called 2 moles of Na plus AlOH4 minus, that is name is sodium tetrahydroxoaluminate 3 and 3 moles of dihydrogen gas. Once again here same thing is you have to perform it here. But just you have to balance this OH here 4 to the 8 is there and here just you see hydrogen oxygen is balanced form 6 to the 12 plus 2 that is 14 here 4 to the 8 plus 6 that is 8 plus 6 is also 14. So this type of complex sodium tetrahydroxoaluminate 3 is obtained and 3 is the thing but oxidation states of this aluminium. Okay, so this type of reaction is shown by, we can say that reacts with HCl and reacts with NaOH. So this question asked many times. Write down a reaction with aluminium which is reacts with hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. Okay, or say aqueous alkali solution. So this type of question is there. You have to write this reaction and this reaction. So this reaction give 1 marks, this reaction give 1 marks. So 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 marks. So therefore you have to write it completely. You understand from this particular point of view. So here just you see twice Na plus is there. So twice Na plus. Once again this Al plus 3 format is also we can say that considered. So here twice Al plus 3 is there. OH 4 minus is there. And 4 to the 8 is there. Just you see 2 and here 6. That means suppose you ionize 6H plus and 6OH minus. So here 6OH minus is there and here 2H minus is there. So plus 2H minus. So 6 plus 2 that is nothing but 8OH minus is there. So this 8OH minus reacts with Al plus 3 and that's why here 2 moles of AlOH4 4 to the 8 and that's why sodium tetrahydroxoaluminate 3 this type of complex is formed. Just to understand from this particular point of view, twice Na plus, just to ionize all these things, aluminium solid is there. So aluminium tendency to lose electron. So here 3 electron is there. That is all about aluminium part. Now twice Na plus. So write down here twice Na plus. and we write, okay, write it here, twice Na plus, twice OH minus, and here also 6, we have to write here 6H plus, and here 6OH minus. So just to see, 2OH minus and 6OH minus, that is how many OH minus is there? And just to see, this H2O is here, that means 6H plus is there. They will be converted in terms of this 6H plus. Once again I write it here. This 6H plus gain how many electron? 6 electron and produce 3 moles of dihydrogen. And that's why you can say that H2 gas is there, and that's why your 6 electron is there. Here how many electron is there? 2, and that's why to multiply with 2. So here we will multiply with 2, so here 2, here 2, so here 6. Okay, and that's why 6 electron is there. So 2Al plus 3 and 8 OH minus, it gives 2 Na plus AlOH 4 minus, because Na plus is 2, okay, that is positive charge. Aluminium plus 3, they are also 2, they form complex, and OH is total 8. So here 4 2s are 8, and all charge is minus, and that's why, because of aluminium possesses plus 3 oxidation state, and that's why sodium tetrahydroxo aluminate 3 is obtained, and dihydrogen gas which is liberated from this 6H plus. So write down this, bifurcate this, ionize this, and complete it in your way. Okay, and so very easy. If you complete just like this, a redox reaction. This is one type of redox reaction. So you understand from that point of view. Third one, reactivity towards halogens. These elements react with halogens to form trihalides. They form trihalides except TnI3. TnI3 cannot form because I minus also possesses big in size, and Tl plus, this is also in a big size, because down the group we can say that atomic radius or ionic radius is increases, and that's why TnI3 is unstable. Here TnI3 is unstable, and that's why Tl plus 3 is a least stable. You know this one. Tl plus 3 is a least stable, and iodine I minus is also be considered big in size, and that's why this TnI3 is not possible. But twice E, that means element of this particular 13 group, plus 3H2 gas, it gives twice EX3. Here instead of Tl you have to write TnI3 is not possible, but twice E plus 3H2 it gives twice EX3. Suppose we consider here twice B plus 3Cl2, it gives twice BCl3. Suppose F is there, then twice B plus 3F2, it gives twice BF3. That's way. So this type of, we can say that trihalide is obtained. So this is all about chemical reactivity and oxidation state and traits in chemical reactivity. So this is all about we can say the chemical properties, and this topic now we completed, and this lecture is also complete. So write down this from your textbook or say NCERT textbook and read it, and just you remember this equation. It is a very reactions, which is a very important, and write down according to just bifurcate in terms of ions, so it becomes very easy for you. Okay, so write it completely. Thank you very much.